So we are in the park. You can see that's the Valentine's event at the moment. It's not exactly heaving, not like it used to be. But apparently, Skyforge is coming to PS4 now, or PlayStation 4, which is a good thing. Now, whether it's going to be cross-platform or not, I have no idea. Really, I would prefer it myself if they did make it cross-platform, just on the basis that the game needs more players. I mean, after the big updates they did, they lost a hell of a lot of players, and I mean, there's good things about that and there's bad things about that. Whether they actually changed it to simplify the game for cost reasons, or whether they changed it to simplify it because they knew the PS4 was coming out with it, or they were going to put it on PS4, that might have been another reason why they changed things. But some of the things that they changed, yeah, some are alright. Others basically lost a lot of players in this game after they got rid of some things. One of the things they've got is the prestige. You'll see here I've got 66 million. Now literally we had some mission upgrades the other day, which are here. I can show you these ones. You see, like on here it shows, if I click on that, it shows you the ones we're doing. Now we're doing the obviously the difficult ones, we've got the high enough prestige for it. If we go back to one that they're going to upgrade later, which ones are they doing? I think it's that one they're doing later. Yeah, you see we're on that white, but we can't do that one yet because we don't have enough prestige. But you can see that this one is 77 million. And these things have been jumping all the time. The only trouble with it is it kind of splits your player base up, because there's several different levels of it, and that each time they add more levels, you're sort of breaking up sections of people. So when you try and get a group match with people, it just gets harder and harder, and if you haven't got the people, it's not working. Plus this I mean, we used to have, what, literally hundreds of thousands of prestige to sort of 1 million or something like that. Then all of a sudden it went crazy, and I mean literally last week I got something like 10 to 12 million prestige upgrade from doing these and getting items. It's not good for your might. I think our might is about 220,000, something like that, but some people literally who are buying credits, because I mean they even sold credits now, and they sell might. You can buy might so you can boost that, which is a good thing. But if you go up too quick with your prestige and don't push your might up enough, you can be really high prestige yet be really weak. So it's all gone a bit screwy, really. You'll see, like with this one, I think this is going to be a monster one. There it is, 103 million. I mean, it's just getting a bit daft. You know, I think pushing the levels up like that was, I think they should have just done things differently, maybe, or, you know, put much more items and things in the game to sort of hunt down and collect and all the rest of it, and obviously had some levels of difficulty, but making your prestige bolt up like it is at the moment, it's kind of thrown everybody everywhere, really. You're getting people that are very weak at the game with massive prestige, and you know, you go in with a group and you think, oh yeah, we're with a good team here. They start fighting and they're just useless, and it's sort of just gone a bit mental like that. I don't know what they're going to do now to try and resolve that, because it is a bit of a mess, I think. That's why you lost so many players as well. A lot of players who've been grinding away for months and months and months suddenly are up against players who've been on for 6 months who are like, look twice as strong as them, even though they're not. So, bit of an awkward one that where they've done that with the prestige. The other thing they've done is there is a thing in here called distortions. Now, years ago, before they had the update, you could go into this with groups and you'd do this one with your pantheon, and then you'd say do this one with your Pantheon when your Pantheon could get into it, kind of thing, the players that were strong enough. And you sort of slowly go through them. Well, in fact, we'll go into this one, I'll show you. Now you see I've got 66 million at the moment, and I've got about 220,000 might, I think it is. If we go in here, this is a 10-man thing. Now these things used to be able to beat. It took some effort, like this is would have been the easier one, right up to 4. I mean, with our Pantheon we did one set of them, did a couple of others, and then after that we hadn't got strong enough to beat the others yet, which was great because you're slowly getting through it. Now, I mean, you can just tell, I mean, okay, I'm not 10 players, I'm not in a group, but you watch this. Look at that health, 80, and I start shooting at it. Give it some of that, give it some fire. I do no damage whatsoever, and you look at the hits when it hits me. It's just annihilating me. And if you think you've got to get through 80 though, even with 10 man, I mean, it's nigh on impossible. I mean, yes, some are doing it, but literally, when you do those now, it's just, I mean, I've done a couple of them in groups, and it's just such a grind. It's just such a boring fight, because when you go and do an invasion, you have to work your way there. You have to work your way up through the say, flagship or something. You've got to get through all that, get through some sort of tough adds, then you've got to get through maybe a couple of sort of mini bosses, and then finally you're up against the Avatar, where you have to group together and work things out so you can defeat the Avatar. But with that, you're literally jumping in and fighting a boss or a couple of bosses, and that's all you do. You've literally got to stand there shooting at it, buffing each other, and it's just, it goes on and on and on. It was long enough when you had the original version, but at least you could get through the first couple, you know, and as you got better or stronger, you could slowly work your way through. You know, you could even do them solo, the first ones, if you were strong enough. But now it's just almost impossible, and the ones we have done, you get rewards in them. Let me have a look. I need to go to the map, that's where I need to go to. There. Not there. Yeah. Maybe not. So you'll see here, you'll get a brooch. Now it's it's epic quality, it's plus 78. I mean, that's pretty good actually. But the ones that I've done previously, this thing here, every time I've done it, I've got the lowest. Like this is plus 42. I've actually got at the moment one that's 81, I think it is. And like when I went in and beat one of these with a group, we spent like, I don't know what it was, an hour or so fighting this thing, 10 of us. Just literally just grind, and then it got absolutely nothing. And I've done it a couple of times, and I just don't bother with them anymore. I do not actually play these anymore. It's just, they were fun. I mean, you used to get the Pantheons, you used to in your Pantheon, you used to group together and fight that. But they kind of took it away, and now just don't bother anymore. I mean, some of the big Pantheons might do all those, but to be honest, we just don't bother with them. And I have no desire to actually go in there, even when I've been invited before. I've just turned it down. It's just, I'm not going to stand there grinding at that one boss. You know, it's different when you do the invasions, because like I say, you go through like flagships and that kind of thing, or you'll see on some of the videos where we did the Ocean Ads one, Tormonta or whatever, and it you know, takes a few hours, but now those, I just think they're a waste of time now, which is unfortunate. So yeah, anyway, going back to it, I'm hoping that when they do bring this out, that they will cross-platform it, because I mean, if you keep splitting your community into bits, you just don't have a player base, and it needs a player base. I mean, when you go to do missions, if we go back to here, have to go through this way. Go back to the centre. You'll see when we go back on the chat on the left-hand side, all the people looking for matches. Now bear in mind, it is a weekend, so it should be at its busiest, or it tends to get at its busiest at the weekends. I mean, there will be a few people in here. But I've actually been in here before, and there's like 3 people in this area. I mean, this used to be, before the updates, this used to be absolutely packed with people. And this is a weekend. You know, I know a lot of them will be off in maps playing games and that, but like I say, this used to be... And the chat on the left there, that used to be just a solid motion of people looking for matches. They are looking for members infected. People, that's the saddest thing, where it says join Golem. That's somebody asking for multiplayer. They're asking people to join it because nobody joins it and they can't play it. If you don't have, you've got to get enough players to get the multiplayer off the ground. You never used to see that before the update. So I don't think the update's really been a good thing. I mean, whether it was done for going onto the PS4, I don't know. But again, this is why you really need to get your players grouped together, pull all the people together, because I mean most of it is player versus environment, so I mean cross-platform's not going to really affect that more than that, I wouldn't have thought. PvP might be a different issue, but to be honest, nobody's playing it anyway, so... And the PvP, I mean you do sort of 10 versus 10 and that, so you could mix it up regardless. Now I mean, although it's a bit quiet today, obviously it has bounced back a bit. I mean, at one point it went to an all-time low. Like I say, it was absolutely empty in these places. But the problem you've got as well is that now the population's kind of dropped off. It's like here, you can now buy credits, you can buy these things, and this is all what boosts up your might and everything, so you're basically paying to win. In a kind of strange way. I mean, it's player versus environment most of the time, so it's not really going to affect anybody. If you want to pay your way up, that's up to you. But it's just a case of, I think that they, you know, the numbers have dropped off, so they've just added more pay to win stuff to make up for the lack of people. I mean, at one point there was enough people that they probably could survive on skins and things that they were selling. But now they seem to have gone down the route of, you know, a lot more even things like that. I mean, that's fair enough. You want to buy mounts, costumes as well, if you want to buy any different costumes. That, yeah, you need special things for that. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see when it does hit PlayStation exactly what happens. Like I said, it is a free game. They do need to make money, that's understandable. But I just think that their player count dropped off and they've had to delve into the pay to win element a bit more. Even though, like I say, it's not necessarily paying to win, it's just you're boosting yourself up without experience, which is a bit of a problem in groups sometimes when you get people who come in and they're just absolutely rubbish because their might's not up to scratch or they just can't play. That's the worst bit, is when you get one that comes in, he's all powerful, looks all powerful, and when he starts playing he just can't play because he's never sort of had the experience, which is a problem when you're fighting the big avatars, or if you do those distortions. You've got to be royally on form for those. So there you have it. Hopefully it'll all go well with the PS4, and I'm hoping that it will be cross-platform. It probably won't be, but you never know.